Hi again, everybody. Hi-Ho Silver here, deep in the beautiful woods of the Pacific Northwest. Well, this week's Bunker Bullion episode, it's entitled Gettin' Pissed, and that I was. But I'm mostly over it at this point. You know, there are just some issues that I'm not happy with, and some of it's equipment related, and some of it's related to that right there. That last little bit of schmutz coming out the back end of a pour, it basically ruins what are otherwise some nice looking things. So we'll discuss that, but I'm also going to share some kind of cool looking pours. Look at this one. Those two little driplets off to the left. I love it. They cannot stay away from the mother lode. So this was a cool pour, but you can see right here, I froze it, and that last little drip, that's where all those imperfections are. And I think I was able to salvage that one. A lot of these things, you see, that's kind of pretty stuff. I kind of have to polish that stuff, you know, and that's more labor intensive, obviously. It's also just a little frustration. So I've had to decide, am I going to pour a full pour and then deal with whatever schmutz is there? Or do I stop short but before that last little drip and then not have an exact weight? So I spent some more time experimenting with that, and also just, you know, keep trying to make things that are beautiful. I did salvage a lot out of my first 50 or 60 ounces of pours, and I'm going to offer those for sale. A lot of people have said they'd be interested. Stay tuned to the end and I'll share that. Anyway, it's time to kind of assess. I've been using this for about 3 weeks. I'm a total novice. I've never done any of this before. I need more of those spacers. They're just going to break like that sometimes. But I'm pretty sure this is where that crap is coming from. And you know, I don't know what the solution to that is. I try to keep it clean, and that helps a little bit, but all of that stuff just ends up in the silver. Another limitation are these graphite crucibles. You do burn through them, and you got to be careful. This one right here was the result of that last crucible's last pour. It burned through, and I let it cool in that position. It's super cool. It is among the couple of errors that you'll see included in the first batch of Bunker Bullion. So, off to another project then. Alright, well, I'm not happy with that, so let's try this. First, I gotta glaze this new crucible. It's supposed to be able to hold some big pours, 20 ounces, so I'm excited. I watched a couple of videos. I've never done this before. Do not copy me. This was a total failure. So, borax. First you heat it up to a warm glow, and then you hit it with some borax, just a little bit. I ended up doing too much, trying to kind of cover all of the surface area of this deep crucible. The depth of it plays a role in what really pissed me off. But we'll take a look at that later. I managed to turn that into something I can sell too. So as you put the little sprinkle of borax, including maybe a little extra around the pour spout, everybody I've watched seems to think that's good. You have to basically have that barrier. The liquid absorbs into the porous crucible, and as you're melting later on, it forms a barrier between the crucible and your metal. Anyway, so you try to cover it as good as you can, but without too much. This is at the end of the first day up at the bunker, and I got it fairly, I guess what I think now I probably should have stuck with. To me, it seemed like there were still some spots that didn't have the protective borax, or basically glass barrier. So I went home, or back to the home base, and started hitting it again. I didn't want to pour before it was glazed properly, because the silver actually then will be absorbed into the crucible, and that's no good either. So I should have kind of maybe balanced it, maybe just a little more. Anyway, I continued the process. I'm heating it with a map torch there and trying not to put too much in. Eventually, we threw some silver in there. That's going to be a couple of ounces. Got this map torch, and the depth of the crucible kind of created some issues. I brought in a second torch, and you know, if I got close enough to really get some heat directly on the metal, there would be a lack of flame. It's not oxygen, I don't think, but a lack of ability to keep that flame really going. So I kept going, man. I melted. I could not get it into a pure liquid form. Also, the mass of the crucible and the limited heat that map torch provides, it's better than propane, but basically this is what I kept fighting. I could get it, but it has at this point fused into that extra borax, and the lack of ability to make it actually molten led me to have to pry it off with my pocket knife. What I've done here after a while of prying is create the most expensive, high premium piece of crap silver on the frickin' planet. Luckily, I got a little bit of therapy beating all that borax off of there. God, I was pissed at this point, dudes. I was out the door. But I put on a little bit of music and I relaxed. I got out the hammer and I just took it to it. Pound all of that crap off of there. And then I got to somehow make it small enough that I can put in those small crucibles that are with that quick kiln kit. And then I'll remelt it and purify it and go through that process again. So I'm hammering and cussing. Hammer some more. Hit my thumb one time, then I cussed a little bit more. Actually ended up beating it into this little pulp here. And I abandoned that crucible. I may have ruined that crucible. You can see here that the glass, when it liquefies, it adheres into the porous crucible. Anyway, all of that is just ripped out of there. Oh well. So what I did is I threw it into my little graphite pouring mold and melted it down into smaller pieces that I could actually use. Several times I've had some errors that I thought had some potential, so I decided I would actually sculpt a little bit, and I did manage to save half of this debacle, and that's among the initial offerings that I'll have. Stay tuned at the end of this video and you can see about how you might be able to get some of this first 50 or 60 ounces. You know, I'm a novice, I've said it many times, don't do what I'm doing, but you might learn a few things on how not to do it. So we took that little chunk off and I'll melt it down. Now you can see here, and I might explore this more, there's a little bead down in the bottom there, and now it's fused and attached. Anyway, that's, I don't know, birth of the bunker, what the hell is that? I kind of like it. Well, here's kind of what I have left over. I've done a lot of melting and remelting. I like these. I'm going to explore these more. These are big chunks. I'm trying to sell some bigger things. I'll have these stamped and weighed, and I'll list them on tastysilver.com individually and share a video probably next week. I kind of like these different rounds. All of these first 5 are in that same large melting crucible. I can go anywhere 1 ounce, maybe up to 5 ounce. I will be selling some of these. These are 1 ounce hexagon. And I've got 2 different kinds of bars I'm messing with. These chunkier here, those go up to, 100 grams or so. And I've been working on different finishes too. There you can see some of the borax leftovers. What doesn't sell, I will remelt and try to make something more beautiful. But at this point, some of these are attractive, and some people have said they'd be interested. I need to stamp them up. Check that one out. That's the Bunker Zombunk. Pretty cool, man. Total accident, just a blowout of a crucible. Came out looking like a dude. Here's what came out at the end of another blowout. I showed that earlier in this video. And then here's another error that I'm working on and polishing up, and I'll stamp that up too. So all of these will be available, and I just need to make enough off of them to buy some more and keep working it. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you again.